We are looking at the return of Joseph Kabila to the DRC. Of course, we are starting from the suspension of his political party, talking about the People's Party for Reconstruction and Democracy, that's the PPROD, and how the government in the DRC has ordered the seize of his assets because of the fear that his presence in the DRC as it stands now may not mean any good for the country. Well, you and I know that the DRC has been in war for quite some time, has been in turmoil and all that. All right, so I have two erudite guests here this afternoon to help us look at the issues and see how the presence of Joseph Kabila, what good is going to mean for the DRC at this time. Please join me to welcome the erudite Nwita Egbutakil, and of course a serial author and an international conflict resolution expert. Nwita, you're welcome to this program.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. And also the ever erudite scholar, talking about Neville Obakedo from the great citadel of Lenin, University of Benin, a lecturer there with the Department of Political Science and Public Admin. So you're welcome to the program.
Please, thank you for having me.
Okay. All right, so Nwita, we'll start from you, Joseph Kabila in the DRC right now. Now, the fear of Joseph Kabila,
beginning of wisdom.
It's about the beginning of wisdom.
For Felix Tshisekedi.
Yes, and we're told that Felix Tshisekedi now has ordered, the seize of his assets against the backdrop that he's believed to be, sponsoring the M23. One asset in the DRC that has been alleged to be largely responsible for most of the crisis in the DRC. So let's start. Joseph Kabila in the DRC right now.
Joseph Kabila.
Yeah.
The son of
Laurent
Kabila. This is a man who came in and who was there for almost 18 years.
18 years, yeah.
And he's trying to find his way back to supreme power. That's the way I look at it. And Felix Tshisekedi, the current president of Democratic Republic of Congo, is afraid. I use the word afraid because, as an expert in this field, in political, arena, when forces when a force see a force, that has the tendency, to threaten you, to upstage you. So what you do is what Felix Tshisekedi is doing, because Joseph Kabila is not a neophyte in the corridors of power. He has tasted power. He has, he has enjoyed power. He knows the meaning of power. And for me, I see Joseph Kabila, trying to come back to supreme power. Though he has said that he is coming to see how he can, mediate, act as a reconciliator or a mediator to the war that is tearing the country to pieces in the eastern flank
of the DRC.
Of the DRC. Because that eastern flank is very rich, mineral and the rest of that. So I see a situation where the sitting president is visibly afraid, and one of the ways a sitting an incumbent could do is to give a dog a bad name so that he can hang the dog. For me, is they are fighting for political supremacy, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, because we must not forget easily, it was after Joseph Kabila that
Joseph
Felix Tshisekedi in 2019. It was after Joseph Kabila had his 18 years rule that Felix Tshisekedi came on board.
Nice.
So it's more or less the predecessor.
And it's claimed to be one of the most peaceful elections.
Yes. So the man is power hungry again. He wants to bring himself to relevance in the political scheme of things in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So viewers, you see what is unfolding in Democratic Republic of Congo as a game of power tussle, because the incumbent is afraid of the caliber of a Joseph Kabila. Joseph Kabila is a force in the political architecture of Democratic Republic of Congo. So and he's going to do everything to stop Joseph Kabila. Okay. As I said, he has. If you want to if you want to hang your enemy, you pin something terrible on the guy. So Felix Tshisekedi has alleged that Joseph Kabila is supporting empty rebels, which I don't believe so. I don't see from my own angle, because it's supremacy. We want to get what? Kabila want to come back. That is the right of the situation. And Tshisekedi is doing everything to stop Joseph Kabila.
Okay. All right. So we made some visuals just to further punctuate, our analysis on this show today. We have some visuals. Of course, we can let those visuals start rolling now, so that we'll get you up to speed, on what we are talking about here this afternoon. Now, Neville Obakedo, please help us to make sense of what we're trying to do, to explain here. I mean, Joseph Kabila back to DRC. I mean, with the mindset of coming to help the situation in the DRC. The DRC has been in crisis. And of course, his political party suspended, and his assets ordered to be freezed by Joseph Nsekesi, the current president of the DRC. So help us make sense. What is going on? What do you think is going on?
Well, thank you for the question, and thank you for inviting me. It was a short notice.
Yeah, but I know you can deliver.
Anytime we want to beam our intellectual satellites on the Democratic Republic of Congo, certain personalities come to mind. Number one, Patrice Lumumba, Joseph Kasavu, and the way they played in politics that led the Belgian government to break up Mobutu Sese Seko as a general to overthrow the government of Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba and Joseph Kasavu.
Yeah.
What led to the overthrow? The crisis, the ethnic politics that were being played. From that time to now, apart from the period that Mobutu Sese Seko was there and he used military power to deal with or to suppress opposition, every form of democratic experiment in Congo has always been portrayed by ethnic politics, resource conflict, external influence, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, just now we are talking about Joseph Kabila. As we are talking about Joseph Kabila, it reminds me of his own father,
Lawrence Kabila.
Lord Desire Kabila. Lord Desire Kabila was a rebel leader. He launched a rebel against the government of Mobutu Sese Seko, while the father of the current president, Etienne Tshisekedi, was the prime minister. And then he became president. Now, history, I pray that history does not repeat itself in DRC. Why? When Lord Kabila was to launch attack on Mobutu Sese Seko's government, there's what we call the Bayamulekes. Bayamulekes are the word Bayamulekes is a word that is used to describe people who are half Congolese and they are half Rwandese or Burundis. They whether be Hutus or Tutsis. Then they also have Congos. They were the people who helped Lord Desire Kabila with the support of President Paul Kagame of
Rwanda, yeah.
And Kakuta Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. They helped Lord Kabila to become the president. Now, the people who helped Lord Kabila to become president, that he promised them and then did not give them a grain of sand. They arranged his assassination. Luckily, the son was also a general in his army. He now became president. They negotiated him to become president. And they assisted him, the same people who assisted the father to overthrow Mobutu, assisted him to remain in power for 18 years. and he kept on shifting the goalpost of a democratic transition. Now, I expect the people of Congo, before the exit of Kabila, to legislate in their constitution that a man who has served a country for 1 tenure or 2 tenure should not come back again to come and be president.
Yeah.
So why will he come back after 18 years to say, I want to be president of Congo? According to Niccolo Machiavelli, a prince who advances the cause of another prince diminishes his own. If I were to see maybe Felix Tshisekedi is watching this program now, and we applaud him for putting machinery in place to stop
Joseph
Kabila.
Yeah.
Number one, the suspension of his party from participating in the Lumi election. And then number two, freezing his assets, because he is coming back to say, I want to come and help to negotiate peace.
In the DRC.
Yes, he is supposed to be an elder statesman who can call the president and say, Mr. President, these are the ways I believe that you could tackle this problem. It's not that he come back to become president. What did he leave in that office in Kinshasa that is coming back to come and take care?
Okay.
And in any case, the same way that the father came to power, trying to use resource control, trying to use militia to waggle his way to power. It's the same thing that this young man, he wants to repeat. That's why I said, I hope history will not repeat itself. And I hope he's going to end well in his political, in his recent political ambition.
Okay. All right. So please, Speedy. Now we have visuals. So please, you can let those visuals roll now, so that our viewers out there can actually understand what we're talking about. And of course, you also see the arrival of Joseph Kabila, whereby he was actually given a celebrated arrival in DRC on Friday. Now, the question that we ask is a country that is in turmoil. Of course, we have a situation whereby the president, okay, this is Nseketi now, that's the president of DRC. He doesn't want Joseph Kabila, as he stands now in the country. But how come we saw the huge welcome, celebrated welcome of Joseph Kabila? This is Joseph Kabila now. All right, you can see him coming. As a matter of fact, I was even given a kind of a red carpet welcome and all that. So, all right, so this is also the part of the situation we're talking about. He has, he had a beard mustache now. I think he's just about 53 years old. He's 53 years of age.
Young man.
Still a young man. At the age of 29, he was president.
I know that.
So, all right, so viewers out there, this is the situation in the DRC as it stands right away. Talking about crisis here and there, ethnic crisis, spillover of what happened in Rwanda, spilling over into the DRC. Now, the accusation that Joseph Kabila is a part of the M23. Now, Joseph Kabila has been in exile in South Africa. As a matter of fact, there are allegations that Cyril Ramaphosa may not be far from this whole permutation,
conspiracy,
and all that. So, help us make sense of it one more time.
Well, just as my co-panelists have said, and just as I said in my initial postulation, is that Joseph Kabila, he wants to rule again. As Levi said, what did he live in Kinshasa after 18 years? Did he perform well? Did he take the country to the next level? What is he looking for? So for me, I think I support Felix Tshisekedi and the way he's handling the situation, because for me that country has suffered so much. Never when memory lane. We saw what happened in the 60s, the horror that was unleashed on the country, by the Belgian colonialists. How Mulumba was suffocated and squeezed out of power, and all those things that happened. So that country has seen enough of bloodshed, enough of conflict, protracted conflict. So I don't know what Kabila is looking for, except that he wants power. Just as you have said, as an ex-president, that's how you can control the presidency without coming in the way he has come into the country. You can mediate. I'm an international conflict resolution expert. I'm a certified mediator, conciliator. You can resolve the crisis from any corner, remotely or from anywhere. For him coming physically into the arena, he's projecting himself. He's a leader of the party. It's very clear that he's ambitious. He wants to take over Kinshasa. And that country has seen enough of crisis, conflict situation. And you agree with me, this is a country that is sitting on the bottomless pit of minerals. This country is overblessed. I expect Kabila to be a partner in progress, not a partner in destabilization. There's nothing Kabila want to say now that people will believe. Whatever pin on him, people will believe. Because Felix is battling for survival. He doesn't want somebody to come and torpedo him from Kinshasa. So for me, for a man that has seen the corridors of power, that has seen the kitchen of power, I'm talking about Joseph Kabila. Though he's a young man, he was relatively young when he was his father, chief of army staff, his father, Kabila. He was fortunate to be in the corridor of power with his father, and it was easy for him to emerge after Kabila was removed from the system. So now he should play a role, and elder statesman, so to say, do you see a young man, and so that you not polarize that country the more. Because that country has seen so much fratricidal warfare. That country has undergone unimaginable horror, unimaginable turmoil, so to say. So that country made peace. So I challenge Joseph Kabila to lay down his hands, to lay down his ambition, to drop his ambition, join forces with Felix to take the Republic of Congo out of the present situation. For what I've seen about Felix he's trying his best. Doing his best is not good enough. You know, he's trying to to make the Chinese, because Chinese is a major interest, a major economic factor in that country. They're into mining and things like that. So he's trying to curtail the Chinese excesses and trying to stabilize the economy and things like that. So that country need stability. That country, the Republic of Congo, needs stability to move to the next level. Not in Joseph Kabila. I see Joseph Kabila trying to put a spanner on the wheel of progress.
Okay. All right. So
that's the way I look at it.
Neville Obakedo. Now, there's a popular adage that says that before you blame the hawk, for coming to take over the chicken, you must also blame the mother hen for bringing the chicks out on such a day. Now, I think for Nseketse, that's the current president in the DRC, his inability to keep DRC together, for some time now, begs for a question. It's been going on. Goma, as we speak now, has been taken over by the M23.
Two cities.
You understand? 2 cities in Goma have been taken over by M23. So, and we blame Joseph Kabila. Joseph Kabila returning and heading straight to Goma to settle there. So let us talk about Nseketse, his inability to really provide the kind of leadership that the DRC wants now.
Okay, the first thing, before we talk of the inability of President Felix Tshisekedi of the DRC to provide leadership, you see that in every country, in every nation state, there's what we call recruitment process into the public service, which includes the armed forces. For 80 years, do you know the number of army generals that transmitted from Laurent Desire Kabila's army into the armed forces of DRC? They are now legitimate soldiers in the country. and they are providing intelligence for President Felix Tshisekedi, they will ill-advise him about the security situation. Oh, really? There are people in the judiciary that were recruited in 18 years by Joseph Kabila. Some were recruited by his father, who spent some years there before he was brutally murdered. So when you are talking about his inability, there are enemies within his government. Okay, here in Nigeria, we have the government of President Kabila Jonathan. Go and check the budget for security under Jonathan. While Jonathan was making budget for security and ensuring that everything the military needed was provided, there were enemies with him, highly placed army officers, highly placed air force officers, highly placed traditional rulers and politicians who are war merchants, conflict merchants, benefiting. They can sacrifice the life of soldiers because of what they want to get.
Wow.
And now we are talking about 2027 in Nigeria. You see what is happening in some part of the country. And they are creating the impression that the president is not able, because there are some uncomfortable spaces that have been created by these politicians. No little wonder the president there, Jonathan, said there were Boko Haramis in his government.
Yeah, when you say this now we understand how Felix Tshisekedi, how he won the election. I mean, he won the election on the strength that he was coming to provide leadership for the DRC. Yes. I mean, the conflict we're talking about now did not just start today. It's been on there for years.
When you talk about Goma, the man coming to Goma, Goma is an ungoverned space that the government of the DRC under the leadership of Felix Tshisekedi has lost control of that area.
Two big cities.
It's not only Goma. We have Lubumbashi there. We have Kibogoro there. There are so many other communities.
And one Benuvo.
So the point I try to make is that when Tshisekedi became the president, the people that this man left here, Joseph Kabila led there as the outgoing president then, the man did not have the intelligence to either demobilize them by retiring them or posting them away from those places and posting people that have the national interest of Congo at heart to those areas. That was why it was easier, very easier for former President Joseph Kabila to use the machinery that he has set in motion to come back to power.
Yeah, all right. So, the program is still...
You know that what I'm saying is the truth.
All right, so viewers, the program is still African Discourse. The program is still right here on independent television, African Discourse, and I still have Nawuta Igbotako and Neville Obakedo. Now, Neville, a while ago, we're trying to look at Felix Tshisekedi's inability to put DRC together, I mean, for all this time. You know, I also try to make an allusion of before you blame the mother hen for bringing out the chicken, also have to blame, before you blame the hawk, also blame the mother hen for bringing out the chicken. So take it up from there.
Well, in any case, when we are talking about the weakness of Felix, I beg your pardon. Yes, Felix Tshisekedi, president of DRC.
Yes, Felix.
It reminds me of the government of General Tito Okello of Uganda. How did Yoweri Museveni was running a rebel group, was able to overthrow their government in 1986. Now, it reminds me of how the government of Juvenal Habyarimana of Rwanda was overthrown by a rebel leader, now President Paul Kagame, who was in Uganda. After helping Uganda president to become president of that country, Uganda president also helping to come and overthrow the government of his country. How weak was Juvenal Habyarimana when himself and his Burundian counterpart were assassinated at the airport? Some of the things that happen in Africa, they are something that you'll be quaking when you hear them, when you see them. Now we are talking of the weakness of Felix Tshisekedi. Is he as weak as we are seeing him? There are so many factors working against him. The only mistake that he's making as a president is that if you become a president of a very volatile and heterogeneous country like Congo, and you want to provide leadership and damn the consequence on your own life. Are you getting it? Make sure that any person or group of persons, or whether within or outside, that are within your power to deal with, you deal with them decisively, so that the leadership that you promise your country can provide. The right now is not providing leadership because there are internal and external conspirators against his government, not just against the government, against the Republic of Congo, that is DRC, because we have another Congo that is nearby. Yeah. So now, if I were to advise President Tshisekedi, number one, I will offer myself as a special advisor to him on ethnic issues. Okay. They will look at the people that are the ethnic warlords and how we can placate them so that they can support their leader, because they will not have another country apart from that country. But what is that we need to know, even while we are looking at Kabila or looking at Tshisekedi, is the fact that they themselves are products of conflict. Their fathers were prime minister and president of this country during conflict. And as a matter of fact, Joseph Kabila was born in conflict. He grew up in conflict and became a conflict man. Yes, he became a warlord and became a president as a result. Yeah. So I just pray for Congo. I pray for Congo just as I pray for Nigeria. Because shortly before I entered this studio, I just got information that somebody was again murdered in the forest of Eda Ekpoma Uromi. Not just 3 minutes before I entered here, by this same marauding whether hunters or herdsmen, as the case may be. And this is a loss to Edo State and to the family of that person. So Laurent Kabila should now still provide leadership while trying to deal with the insurrection that is being led by Joseph Kabila, because creating an environment for Kabila to arrive, to be given heroic welcome, is even a slap on the face of the PPRD, because since he left the country and the party has been in existence, is there no chairman of the party? There should be national leadership of the party. Don't they have somebody, assuming Joseph Kabila had died in exile? Is it that nobody would have been able to provide to become the next president or presidential candidate of the party to contest with Tshisekedi? Must it be the same Kabila? Well, in any case, as I've said, so many people are interested in the mineral resources of DRC. Whether they are citizens of DRC or former presidents of DRC and their collaborators outside. Kabila is one of them.
Okay. All right. So I know which side to go. Now we are looking at a situation whereby there are internal factors, and no doubt about that. Just as Neville Obakedo has opined, that there are internal factors militating against the peace in the DRC, as it were. But let us focus more on the external factors. I mean, you said a while ago that the Chinese are, very, very well present in the DRC,
very strong
because of the mineral resources.
Yes,
we also understand that the Russia government, I mean, the presence of the M23 and all that. Now, all these external factors, militating against the internal factors, where does Felix Tshisekedi, where does it go from here?
Where he has to go is for him to provide leadership. Just as I was saying, he's not a baby. He's not a new fight. Talking about the political situation in his country. His father was a former prime minister, and himself and the other guy, Kabila, they were all children who were thrown up, in the name of conflict. And their ethnic sentiments, ethnic loyalties, ethnic, among, in the army, so it should be on top of the issues. Just as I said earlier, the Democratic Republic of Congo needs stability, needs to move from this stage to the next stage. For me, I see a Kabila coming to destabilize, because he has an ambition. It's very clear. I mean, a conflict resolution expert. The characters, what Kabila has displayed, that he wants to come back to Kinshasa. He's power hungry. Just like Nebai said, what did he forget in the president's palace in Kinshasa? What did he not do in 18 years? So the onus rests on Felix Tshisekedi to provide leadership, to be a marshal in handling the ethnic situation, the economic situation, and things like that. Though credit should go to him, he's trying to curtail the excesses of the Chinese incursion, because Chinese are neck deep in the mineral, mining in that country. But it should provide leadership, because if there is no leadership, there will be no economic development.
All right.
So it should provide leadership and take the country to the next level. It should be able to curtail. He has said, funnily just now, never. If you guys should invite him as minister or ethnic.
No, I mean it too. As if you are
because there's ethnicity.
As a special advisor.
Ethnicism is a virus that is tearing Africa to pieces. People are loyal to ethnic groups, not loyal to the government, not loyal to authorities. So President should be wiser. He should know who to approve from his system. He should know who to overhaul his government so that can checkmate those who are not for him. Okay. So that a Dr. Kabila cannot overtake the political situation.
Yeah. All right, so some of the statement of facts about the DRC is that more than 3,000 Congolese have died in this civil war ever since the civil war started. And we also understand that it records as one of the most humanitarian crises in the DRC. I mean, a situation whereby most Congolese, especially those in the Republic of Goma, in the Goma province, that's the eastern region of the DRC, they are faced with hunger as a result of humanitarian issues, no food to eat, no water to drink, no house to stay in, to sleep in, and of course no medical care. Some of the medical aids that have been given to them, we're told that some of the warring fractions that are there, the warlords there, they destroy them. They even prevent humanitarian aids going to Goma and other provinces in the DRC. Now, Naveeb Obakedo, apart from the fact that Joseph Kabila's political party has been disbanded now, good one for Felix Nseketse. Now, don't you think there are other ways that Joseph Kabila may want to come in? So let's begin to also look at these ways now, so that we also begin to suggest to, Felix Nseketse that, hey, you have suspended his political party. You watch out for this. Naveeb Obakedo.
The first thing is that former President Joseph Kabila is not a Democrat. He only subscribed to democratic rule when the surrounding, that is the Great Lakes region, the presidents that were there and the supporters of his father, the friends of his father, were also professing democracy, joined them to profess democracy. Who are these people? I've mentioned Paul Kagame of Rwanda. I've mentioned Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda. Now, these persons, if you look at the kind of democracy that they are practicing in their country, will you say they are practicing democracy? This was the kind of democracy that Joseph Kabila wanted to bring to the DRC that made it to stay there for 18 years. Go and check the record.
But would you want to puncture democracy in Rwanda right now?
Whether I want to puncture democracy in Rwanda
or question it.
I'm not questioning democracy in Rwanda because I'm not a Rwandese. But I can question democracy in Rwanda because President Paul Kagame, even though he's trying to make life better for the people, he has severally altered the constitution to elongate his tenure. That's not democracy. Because if he dies today, another person will still be president, another person will still provide leadership. So making himself to be like a life president, then like the other day, Chinese president Xi Jinping went to alter the constitution of the Chinese People's Republic of China, so that as a president he can remain in power. Whereas the likes of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, they served 5 years and they left. So these are the things that we are talking about. Now, even in the case of Russia President Vladimir Putin, at the time was president, later he became prime minister, he came back again to come and become president. And now he's like a life president of Russia. So talking about Joseph Kabila, his party being disbanded, he was a military man and a usurper, even before he embraced democracy, from where that their political party was from. Now that the party is disbanded, he goes back to his original state and his original self of being a warlord. And now he has arrived in war zone and they have been given heroic welcome. So he's now going to now use the tactics of guerrilla warfare to see how he can spread control of Congo and how he can find himself back in power. But I believe that the President Felix Tshisekedi will not allow that to happen.
Okay. All right. So still there now. Let's begin to look at the conflict in the DRC, because I mean it's a time. I think time has come that conflict should stop. I mean we keep on hearing how people are dying in thousands every day and all that. So what do you think, apart from trying to settle it in an ethnic way? So which other ways do you think Felix Tshisekedi he should begin to explore right now?
I didn't say he should settle in an ethnic way. I said he should be very careful.
Yeah, but it's an ethnic crisis.
You should know, because ethnicism is a very destructive virus.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking
so we should know those who are with him, because we have to provide leadership.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking that question, because if you look at the crisis areas in Africa, even in Nigeria, where we're having our crisis, I mean the Boko Haram headers and all that, it's all ethnicity. Ethnicity, that's just it.
But you have to be on top of it as a leader. We are talking of the Chinese leader now, who has been able to extend his tenure. That shows a strong man. That's what President Putin. So he has to be a strong man.
So he has to extend his tenure?
No, I'm not saying he has to be a strong man to stabilize the Democratic Republic of Congo. My brother, you agree with me? The Democratic Republic of Congo needs a strong man.
Yeah, they need a strong man.
They need a strong man.
Stronger than
why don't we talk about strong institutions?
Don't say strong man.
Yeah, the strong man will build the strong man. The institutions of the United States were built by strong men. Before you now see strong institutions in America, strong men build those institutions.
The strong president.
But that is lacking in Nigeria.
So I challenge Felix Tshisekedi to be a strong president.
Okay.
A strong president that will be on top of the issues. For instance, I'm not clapping for President Tinubu. We know what is happening in Nigeria. We know why where we are. That the electoral process is still is nothing to write home about in Nigeria, for instance. And the Nigerians have been calling on President Tinubu to ensure that the electoral process is sanitized. But the man, because he wants to be in power, you know that if the electoral process is sanitized, it may not win the 2027 presidential elections. No. It's not. I'm coming and go somewhere.
Let us be careful.
He's not looking that way. Don't worry, President Tinubu is not looking that way, because if the electoral process is sanitized, it may not survive 2027 presidential elections.
Oh, really?
So now we want. I want to advise Felix Tshisekedi to be a strong man, to be in control of his country, to put the likes of Joseph Kabila where they belong. And be a strong man, not negatively. Be a strong man to take the Democratic Republic of Congo to the next level. Okay, for instance, I'm not clapping on for the like of Kagame, for instance. Kagame is a strong man. Kagame is a dictator. I've said this about on this platform. He's a dictator. I don't envy him. But the man has stabilized that country. The man is taking care of his country. The man has taken it to the next level. But I'm going to challenge Tshisekedi to be a strong man, because the Democratic Republic of Congo has suffered too much. Too much bloodshed, too much financial warfare, too much conflict. Let the strong man emerge in Kinshasa. Okay. Let the strong man stabilize the country and let the country move forward. Not for a Kabila to come and put spanner in the wheel of progress.
Okay. Now, Nephew Lobakedo, away from that quickly, he was like saying, Nawutai Butako was like, trying to draw an allusion into what is going on in Nigeria.
Yes.
And of course, he said that our own president does not want the electoral situation.
That's a fact of the matter.
So that's his own opinion. I want you to quickly respond to that before we look at this whole issue of strong men. Now, does strong men, strong leaders in Africa, does it necessarily translate to elongation in office? Because that seems to be the closest interpretation when we say strong men in governance in Africa.
Okay, before I talk about the first question, what to do with the president, let me talk about strong men. In Africa, we have had strong men. Number one, let's start with La Côte d'Ivoire. We had a strong man there, Félix Houphouët-Boigny. He was strong. He was so strong to the extent that he moved the capital from Abidjan to his hometown, Yamoussoukro. That's a strong man. Then we had another strong man in Tanzania. In Tanzania, we had a strong man they call Mwalimu Nyerere. Nyerere became a strong man, very strong to the extent that he moved the capital from Dar es Salaam to his hometown, Dodoma.
Maybe Bagbo too.
Yeah, that's a strong man. Now, there are so many strong men. We have had so many strong men in Africa. We have had the likes of Hosni Mubarak. Hosni Mubarak took over from Aswa Sadat. When Aswa Sadat died, he became the president. Was a strong man for many years. I was in primary school. I was very about Timothy. I grew up to this stage. I heard about Timothy recently when their government was set packing. That was how I heard of a strong man like Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. And then until recently he left office, so he was chased out because of Arab Spring. That was how I heard of Ben Ali of Tunisia. I've heard of so many leaders like before Abdou Diouf came to Senegal. We used to have Leopold Sedar Senghor was a strong man. The list is long of strong men. To answer your question directly, strong men in African politics or in nation states in Africa, they are aimed at elongating their tenures.
Yeah, because
one of them is
best way to characterize
Robert Mugabe. We have Samora Machel died in a plane crash. We have Esti Kamuzu Banda of Malawi. The list is long. Because of time, let me come to the first question that you asked. The issue of President Tinubu not wanting electoral process to be changed.
Yes. To be sanitized.
To be sanitized. To use your language. Yes. Because if you sanitize the process, it will not survive. It will not survive 2027. I beg to disagree with you. I disagree with you not just because I want to put the facts as they are in public domain to the public or to our viewers or to our audience. I want to quarantine your emotional outburst because I know you as a civil society person. We have worked together for many years, and you used to monitor election. Yes. Now you see on election day, and you are my witness that on election day, people are giving money, even though they say they want to vote for party A. Let's say their party is APC, or they want to vote for party B, PDP, or they want to vote for party C, Labour Party. On election day, their vote will not go to the party that will give them the highest currency. Maybe APC can give them 5,000 in a particular polling unit. PDP will give them 10,000. The Labour Party will come and give them 20,000. Even though there are no supporters of APC, they will go and vote for Labour Party. Is that not true, sir?
If you're correct, go ahead.
It is true.
These allegations.
No, it's not allegation. It's my witness because I monitor election. You monitor election.
Take them as allegations.
Yes, okay. I agree with you that they are allegations. Yeah. Because we have not come to testify against anybody in a court of competent decision like the tribunal to say yes, we saw you collecting money and all those things. Exactly. So that's by the way. Now, when we are talking about electoral system, the electoral system is like the police force that we have. People are saying that Nigeria police is corrupt. The corruption in the Nigeria police is a reflection of the corruption in Nigeria society. The Nigeria society is a criminogenic society. I made mention of the issue of insecurity. There's no insecurity that we cannot tackle in 1 month. I'll give you an instance. On election day is not a day of so much insecurity. But if they want to conduct election in this state, like the 2023 governorship election, go and check the record. If you know the number of soldiers that were deployed to Edo State, if you know the number of civil defense that were deployed to Edo State, if you know the number of policemen that were deployed to Edo State. Now, if there is kidnapping along Auchiro there, Auchiro to Uyere, to Onwa, to Uzeba area, if they deploy 5,000 soldiers to that forest, all the kidnappers will be apprehended.
They'll be chased away.
If they put 5,000 policemen there, that will be combing the forest from various sides, you will see that that insecurity will be dealt with. But the people benefiting from resources that are meant for providing security, they will not allow that one to happen. That intelligence that they used to gather money on election day, they have it. They will not sell it. Commissioner of Police will not sell such idea to their governor in their state. Yeah. The brigade commander or whatever the military formation in that state will not also do the same thing. Yeah. Now, you do not expect Nigerians who are corrupt from where they now put people in INEC not to be corrupt in INEC. If INEC is the problem, INEC is not the problem. It is Nigeria that are the problem. And if you want to do it, is by punishing offenders. If you punish offenders during the election, and they know that the person who did this and that in that election is now in prison, then you now see that people, just the same thing with kidnapping. when somebody is apprehended for kidnapping, you take the person, even if it's community, if it is a community that apprehends the person, they hand over the person to the police. So police collect money, prepare charges that will go and fail in court, and then you see the person on the street.
Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds to quickly wrap it up. 30 seconds.
For me, INEC is the problem of Nigeria.
We're not talking about Nigeria.
No, for instance.
We're not talking about Nigeria.
For me, I just started the case of Nigeria because the president is more like a dictator.
So that you look as if we are shifting attention.
But very quickly say it, the problem in Nigeria is INEC. If the electoral process is sanitized and people can have the digital voting, our vote will count. Our vote is not counting now. So now, I want to advise Felix Tshisekedi of the Republic of Congo to be a strong man in the best interest of his nation.
Okay. Now,
to take the nation to the next level.
Neville, maybe that may have to translate that he has to extend his tenure as the president there?
No, I believe that.
I mean,
if Tshisekedi,
Kabila was there for 18 years and is regarded as a strong man. So.
Yes, his strongness was anti-democratic. If he's coming out to say want to become president again under democratic principles, then he has misfired. I believe that the father of Felix Tshisekedi, Etienne Tshisekedi, former prime minister of Democratic Republic of Congo, will not forgive his son if he allow Kabila. No, he is dead.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. He will not forgive his son in the land of the dead. If the son,
if he allows Kabila
to come back, somebody was there 18 years and handed over to you in 2019. The person comes back again, either to take over government from you through a democratic process or through a military revolt. Then the father will not forgive him. And I believe I will also forgive him because there are so many Africans from the Democratic Republic of Congo and people from Nigeria, including myself, who can advise him on how to bring peace to the country and bring development to his country. And then quarantine all those external conspirators that are be feeding on the blood and the mineral resources.
All right, gentlemen, because of time, I want to say thank you. Please extend the handshake to Neville. This is where we leave the program today. And of course, just as we have said here, now the intent of Joseph Kabila is unknown yet, except the fact that for us here, we are beginning to make postulations. And of course, even the authority in DRC, they are only making postulations just because a party is said to have been formed by him, and that party is linked to the M23 that has been responsible for the proscription of that party. So time will tell. We are watching, and with time we will see the intention of Joseph Kabila in the DRC. My name is Evan Sunokuge. Until same time next week, goodbye and God bless.